Steph and Heather and Mark, and this is Real and Raw. How's it going?
What's up, girl?
What is up? Okay, so today we just had a little bit of a heated discussion. I felt like, we're like challenging Mark. We're talking about healthy anger versus destructive hate. And Mark likes to think, and maybe he is, maybe he does. He says he does not feel anger. And I'm like, I'm going to call bullshit, Mark. But we came up with some crazy scenario that, I mean, look, it was dark. But I was trying to dig real deep and say, wait a minute. Now, if your mom got, like, somebody beat the shit out of your mom and, like punched her eyes hanging out and, stole everything out of her house, you don't think you'd feel anger? He's like, I'd feel something, but it wasn't anger. What was it?
I would kill the person that did it.
He said he'd just kill. What did you say?
I'd be sad.
He'd be sad. I said, I'm gonna call bullshit right now, Mark. You might feel sad later, but you're gonna feel something before that. So whether or not, let's hope that scenario is never gonna happen to Mark. But I was just kind of giving that, that extreme because I personally believe, and I could be wrong, but that we do feel, all of us at times feel anger, right? And so there's anger to me is healthy if you're able to move through, right? And it doesn't settle in, take hold and rude hate. What do you think?
I agree. I think you can have, it's a natural emotion that we feel. That was what Mark sort of disagreed with, that it's not really an emotion. I do think you can argue that it's either an emotion or it's a reaction to an emotion, whether it's fear or insecurity or something else. But yeah, I think you can hold on to it I'm just so angry for so long, like whatever the situation may be. You lost a job. Somebody betrayed you. Your spouse cheated on you. You're gonna hold on to that and hate for so long, versus, okay, this happened to me. I'm angry. I learned from it, but I'm not gonna let that mess with me forever. I'm not going to let that affect me forever. I'm gonna learn from it and try to move on and make changes in my next situation,
right,
whatever that is.
You're right, because is it going to help me move forward or is it going to keep me in a stuck position? And I feel like that is really, you're going to get angry. So I'll just go ahead and tell you, I like examples. I was in actually a few lawsuits, over the past six years. I think I topped out with like 4. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you're like, what the hell did you do to these people? Or are you a real, no.
No, it makes you an expert now at navigating through.
Well, it's not. I don't want to. I want to hang up that
No more
title. And no more. I have learned the fucking lessons. But what I did learn through this, through actually all of them, but the last one was brutal because it was crazy betrayal. Like I had a a really good friend of mine. I wouldn't call her best friend because best friends don't do that, okay? But, a really good friend of mine completely betrayed me, right? It was a huge betrayal that I had never, I just I couldn't comprehend that, one, it was happening, and I was in denial. But then, just the craziness of it all, the maliciousness of it all, right? I got first sad and then angry, like unbelievable anger, right? And I needed to figure out how to work through that. So I will tell you, it was a 2.5-year lawsuit of craziness, but at the end of it, I was like, I feel sorry for these people. And I thought, oh my God, like, however you did that, which I can tell you, there's some steps that I took to do that, but I hit that anger head on and I allowed it to move through me and to see my part in things. And I feel like had I taken a different approach, a lot of people go to hate because it's a lot easier to blame somebody else and to funnel that energy into that space. But what that to me, I was like, I'm not going to let their actions take root in my body, because that's a double whammy. You're already trying to fuck me over right now. You are not going to take me physically and mentally down. No way. So I learned, there was several things that I had to work through. And one of them was just understanding that the anger is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And what am I going to do with it, right? I don't want it to stay stuck in my body. So how do I process this? And, I did all kinds of things, but I will tell you, on the other end of it, here I am, years later, I don't think about these people. And I actually ran into...
So you're not still angry at all?
Oh, no, not
That's
anymore.
great.
No, and I saw this old business partner on the street, and I was like, oh my God, I don't...
Oh, you did?
Anything.
You did?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a point where I was like, maybe I should honk and roll the window down. And I was like, nah, don't do that. Like, that. What are you going to do? Why do you want to provoke this poor girl, right? Like, she's already miserable in her own life. Like, let her be, right? Let her be. And so there was some true growth and empowerment from this 2.5-year torture session, right?
Yeah.
That, I got to pay for. But I learned so much from it about anger and how I would absolutely not let that hate take a hold of me. And I will tell you, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. A couple of years later, I can say that. But, just the whole process of how you mentally work through that anger so it doesn't form into hate.
So piggybacking on what we were talking about before with emotional wisdom and emotional intelligence, I think when you can look at these situations and introspect and just look back, take a step back, zoom out and go, okay, what was my part in this? How did I grow from this? During these things that are happening to us at the time, in the present, there are so many other things that happen. Anxiety.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Loss of sleep.
All
of these
the
things
physical stuff.
And so like in the medical realm, it's like more of we call it like a psychosomatic thing. Like your psyche is creating these somatic physical symptoms. You're nauseated, you have headaches, you can't sleep, you're irritable. All of these like symptoms are manifesting, and it's happening in real time. And it's a cycle. It becomes more vicious.
Yes, because you're repeating. So that's
Yes.
where it happens. I think you
Yes.
start with that thought, and hate starts with just that replay, that constant. Now you're fixated, right? Now
Yes.
you're fixated on this person becomes like your job, right? And oh, I should have said this, or all these hate feelings, judgment, all these things. But what it does to your body is exactly what you're talking about.
And you're completely preoccupied thinking about this throughout your day. Well, what about, I can't believe, and
you create those stories, right?
And it's literally taking over your life. And what you're not realizing is it's not affecting them at all anymore.
Well,
Maybe
it's
a little
actually,
bit.
no, it might be.
You're
good
the
for
one.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They might be like, yeah.
That's what I want.
I got this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this whole process of who is it really hurting?
You.
The healthy anger in the beginning, I'm learning from it. Don't do that again. There are
Right.
certain things I learned. I'm not going to repeat those behaviors or thoughts anymore. But when it's years and years, like you have had a bitter divorce,
Yeah.
or you've had a friendship or whatever, and all you can do is continually fixate on that
And
to
talk
the point,
about it. Oh my God, talk about it.
and you won't shut up about it, and
No.
it comes into your life every day,
it
and
steals your joy.
you're complaining to your kids about this ex person or your friends about this, and you're on, and you can't move forward.
Well,
You're
there's no end
stuck in
point.
a,
There's no end point. You're just looping, right? And
it eventually will kill you.
right, absolutely. Well, it's heart attacks. It's all these autoimmune
Holding on to
disorders.
hate, holding
Yeah.
on to hate. It starts out as anger that you can take as a healthy lesson, but you don't, you're kind of like, what, it's not stupidity, but it's, what is it? Is it ego that prevents you from,
Yeah.
what prevents you from learning from it, and on and on and on? What is
I think
that?
I mean, I'm sure there's several things, but I think, you're just so upset with this person, and you're only seeing one side of it. You're not seeing your own part in it. You're not seeing, like, for me, I looked at the lawsuit, and I looked at these two individuals who tried to, to take me down illegally and using the legal system, right? And I looked at both of them and I said, they're really sad people. Like, they're really empty people. And I'm not, and I started to feel for them. I had a little compassion as to, this one here, she's probably got, what do you call that? Stockholm syndrome, right? And how would I feel, if I were there, and this man who has to devote this kind of time and energy to, trying to take down a woman who, I said something he didn't like, right? Like, wow, what a fragile ego, right? Like, this person is living every day in that life. And yeah, they would do this to somebody else. It's not personal. It wasn't personal. And that, I think, is a big piece to it, is that
could have been anybody.
He did it to other people.
Yeah.
This was like a track record. These people like to sue.
Oh,
So,
litigious.
just to fuck with people. And
God.
They're, angry individuals, right? And their power, he had a little bit of a power trip. And, sadly, he didn't get the result that he wanted with me because, well, I didn't cave to this whole bullshit. But I also knew, I was like, if I crumble, if I, let this tear me apart, they win. They win. And I'm not, you're not getting, you may take my money, you may take my house, you may take my car, you can take all, but you will not take this person inside of me, this soul, right? And I'm gonna move past it. But I had to look at them from a different perspective.
Yeah.
As in, this isn't personal. These poor individuals, God bless them, because karma's coming for you, right? It's already here. You get to live with each other. God bless, right? But it was kind of those things, right? And when the thoughts would come, like, and the anxiety would come, and I'd be like, motherfuckers,
so
they're ruining my life. And of course I would feel that. Like, no, you play. What was your part? Did you avoid the warning signs? Yes. Did you, not do your part in this, and you signed some bad paperwork because you didn't read it? That's kind of your fault too.
Well, and then you're trusting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, you don't want them to think you're questioning their veracity or anything like that. But I think what happens is, in order to I think differentiating between the healthy anger versus the holding on to hate is a piece that comes like a little piece of puzzle. It's so huge, but it's a tiny little piece that enters with it's forgiveness. It's a version of forgiveness.
Yes, and listen, if I had held on to that hate, or if I had allowed it to become hate, because it didn't, and I can say to you, I don't hate anyone, and that's the truth. I just
no,
it's not.
I don't either.
It's wasting.
I do not either.
Time,
no,
right?
it's
your own prison.
Well, that's on you.
Yeah. But if I had signed up for that hate wagon, I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I will tell you what, it would have cost me a lot more money. I would have done things out of out of spite versus out of what's really gonna long game stuff. What's gonna work best for you?
Yes.
And so there was a huge
self-care.
Yeah, and just like go create something else, and they get to watch you later. Like a podcast. Hey.
There is so much energy put into, and that's what's there's the darkness about that in the universe somewhere, that it's like, we like whatever this, they call it asuras in the Vedic wisdom, is like, oh, those asuras just waiting for you to hate and do all these things. You got to let it go. Forgiveness. It heals you. It actually frees you.
It's your own personal prison.
Yeah.
And, like when you're going through it, you're like, okay, again, what's my part in this? And how do I learn from it?
Yeah.
I needed that lesson. It was never about them anyway. I believe that when I can, ground myself, when I do this with meditation, journaling has been my best friend. It has been the thing that, I would get all these feelings out. And sometimes I'd rip the fucking paper because I was so angry. I was like,
Yeah.
how can they do this to
Listen,
me?
it's so cathartic when you
Yeah.
can find something like that and use that as a version of your own healing. For me, I think mine's like music and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. But for you, you love to write and
Oh, yeah.
all of that. And I learn from your stuff. And I read these memes sometimes. Something today was just about this, about like what I found out about those periods of darkness was that they were supposed to be there for my learning and healing. I had to go through those dark moments for me to come out the other end. Some people, it's like they're stuck in that place.
Right. Absolutely.
And they can't, they don't know how to get out because they're so addicted almost to these feelings of hate and revenge. And it's it's really just hurting them because the other people that
are moving
are involved,
around through life.
they probably don't even
care. They don't care.
They don't.
They're not. And I think it's.
Or maybe they're getting off on it in a way.
Right. What's my reaction? Only thing I can control is how I respond. So that's how I'd be like, okay.
Yes. Yes.
We were in a deposition and outwardly lying, right? And I was trying to keep it under my cool, right? But then, something triggered and I went, you're bad. And my attorney's like slapping me under the table. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, that wasn't cool. But I only did that one time through 2.5 years, right? I kept a level head. But the only way I could do that is because I was focused on my reaction.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I think there's a saying, it was always between you and him and not you and them. And so when you really think about that, you, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, but that's what I'm getting graded on when I die.
Yes.
That's it. It is not what they did to me. It is how I responded to what they did to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you can kind of keep pulling those kind of things back into the forefront of your mind, it's much easier because if not, you get stuck in these loops, these hate loops. I will tell you, I have somebody that was a really, really close friend of mine. And, I'm not going to get political because I think I'm apolitical now, just so everybody knows.
I think I'm getting there myself.
I am. Fuck all of you. This is
hold on.
They're screwing.
I'm there.
Okay.
I'm there.
That's a whole nother podcast. But
I'm there.
I'm apolitical, so whatever. But this person is so angry at, politics, right? I will tell you, 5 years ago, happy, smiling, just a joy to be around, right? The whole demeanor of this person has changed so much that it's like even a normal hello now is so strained with just anger.
Like a forced.
You can feel the tension, everything.
Yeah.
Like the movements are rigid, and the light is gone. I mean,
that is a shame.
And I thought that's what happens when you allow. And the words that this friend speaks. I hate this. Like, just even the way she says hate, I'm like, oof, get the fuck back.
Yeah.
Like, that is not me. I want no parts of that. And it has nothing to do with anything other than you're spewing ooey darkness all over all of us.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't even recognize it. You're like a walking hypocrisy because you're saying you know what I mean?
It's like a mental cancer, like a spiritual cancer on them, and it's eating away. And it's kind of like, it's really sad because you're letting something that is not really even, maybe in some ways, it's not even a tangible thing that you're watching the media and then it's sort of like injecting itself into. It's like you watch this one and they watch that one and it's this side and it's that side.
Yeah, that's what. But what happens is that feeling, that hate that people have, it grows. It grows like a cancer. And
misery loves company on any of those sides. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just felt like, it wasn't that I don't talk to her really anymore. I mean, I'm not, there's no altercation or anything.
Yeah.
I just was like, I don't want to be around that kind of person.
Right.
Period. And,
right.
they're all over the place, right? But it's a choice. hate is a choice.
It is a choice. And sometimes it's easier to just say, hey, look, let's not have that conversation because we have so many things in common outside of that. Why don't we just focus on that? I really don't want anything to affect our, the light in us or our spirit. Can we just agree to disagree?
But I think it got to the point where it didn't even matter what the conversation was, because that hate had resided, like it set up camp. It had a whole community working in her body, right?
Yes.
That the energy is low.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like this.
Like a very low vibration that, it's going to take a lot of work to bring it back up.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take a lot, because you know what? The thoughts have been, they're strong now, and they're looping, and now everything. So what it does is it sort of shrinks what you think about, right? And you just hyper focus on negativity, then everything becomes negative. When you get outside, now you don't see that the sun is shining. Guess what?
Right.
Guess what? There's some fucking clouds today.
And then you go into the grocery store. I'm not buying that because so-and-so was supporting that. And I'm not this because of that. And it's literally every minute of your world is affected by this thought.
Yeah, because your perspective has shifted. Now you are locked and loaded into anger mode, hate mode, and it turns everything, like the colors aren't pretty anymore. You stop, being vibrant. You stop smiling and laughing. I haven't seen that person laugh in God knows how long, but I can tell you this: there's a lot of very angry, assertive moves. And I'm like,
listen, that is a very potent weaponization. You forget about the gun, you have a bunch of people walking around like this and hate, and they're just right it up. I mean, it's completely divides everybody. Well, there's no like, hey, let's have an open conversation. Let's have a little bit of a open-mindedness about, it's just you versus me type thing. That's a weapon.
Yeah. And I remember saying to her, and this may be the catalyst to the friendship sort of, just dissipating, was, I said, this is kind of where cancer comes from, I think.
That's exactly.
And she's like, excuse me?
Physically, mentally, spiritually.
Look, I said, I told you this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you weren't happen to be one displaying it 10 years ago, but this is not a thought process that's different from me that I've have. I didn't just switch up because I want to hurt your feelings. This has always been how I felt about, different types of illnesses. I think they start in the mind. And I just believe that, sometimes cancer, we're so angry. We build up all these dark emotions inside of our bodies, and the body is smart. It's like, okay, if that's what you want. All right, you want that in your cells?
Well,
okay.
and then you open yourself up to all these different weaknesses, which then breaks down, your immune system a little bit, opens it up to all of these potential, problems and dis-eases.
Dis-ease.
Because you're in a dis-eased state.
I love that.
That's what you're in.
Yeah. So remember, I'm going to just tell that one quick story. That Reiki client I had, who was so angry with her husband.
Yeah.
She created it took 6 months, but she was actively hating her husband after he died. And she got rheumatoid arthritis worse than I've ever seen on anybody in my entire, it was so debilitating. And it was hate derived.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know why anybody wants to do it. I know a lot of people actively engage in it. But it's the only person it's really hurting. Well, I shouldn't say it's hurting anybody you're affecting, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Lucky your family if you're one of those. But the person that it hurts the most is you. Like, you're the one that now your life has shrunk. You don't see life as beautiful,
and you're stuck in a loop,
optimistic, and you're just in a loop. And there's just no room.
You can't move beyond it. I think the sooner that people realize that everything's connected, your feelings and your emotions and your physical health and what you're eating, and listen, I need to I'm teaching myself right now too. It's everything's connected.
Yeah.
It's not like science and then spirituality. It's not really this. It's like kind of a non-duality. There's duality. That's what's funny, because people will say there is duality, and then others will say, well, non-duality. Well, there's both.
Right,
There's
right.
there's non-duality and duality,
Right,
and then, which
right.
makes it like.
Yeah.
But I think it's all connected. It is definitely all connected. So, if you're full of hate like that, it's going to show up physically.
Absolutely. So then, okay, all right. So if you find yourself in one of these places, right? How do you
The how to.
yeah, how do you transfer this healthy anger? It's okay. Don't act like, oh, it's not a big deal. Yes, it is, because you're now you're lying to yourself. So
Yeah.
one, don't lie to yourself.
Face it.
Really label that emotion that you're feeling. All right. And then what can you do? Like I said, I know you listen to music. Like I put on amazing music, like uplifting music when I find myself in a position like this, right? If I'm like, no, switch the mood. Get off of that track that is, why I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have said that. Can you imagine how many hours is devoted to that kind of nonsense?
And it just, if you want to think of it scientifically, because you don't really want to talk spiritually and stuff like that, if you think of like how patterns work, you even addictions, it's been proven scientifically. I think it's like 2 weeks to break a habit, but 6 weeks to fully not break it fully, but it's between 2 and 6 weeks, and then after that is like a post whatever period where you have to continually pay attention that you don't get back into that behavior or thought process. It's a healing process, and it takes work. Meditation's helpful.
Oh, that is
fitness
huge.
is helpful.
Yeah.
Don't put on like really dark music. Try to put up some uplifting things. Get out in the sun. Don't, just wallow in it and continually try to think about it and, take drugs or drink or even though those are quick little Band-Aids that everybody.
Sometimes we go to those, but it really is those kind of things like the meditation that
the meditation is a big one. That's the biggest.
And then I started working out. So I was going through something, not, the last few months or whatever. Yeah. And so anger has been a impulsive anger that has showed up in my life, recently. And I've had that opportunity to sit with it. Now, it wasn't angry like somebody went and, hurt my children kind of angry, but it was just, hurt turned into anger. And I'm like, okay, what are you going to do with this stuff? Okay, well, one, you chose to be in whatever this is. So one, your part in it, but what are you going to do? You could go drink. No, but I'm going to go to the gym, because you know what I'm going to do? And not when I go to the gym.
Live your best life.
I am. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to put on music that is like, I don't know the lady that sings I Come Alive, but I have that shit on like repeat, and I am just like crushing it. So my mind is now, I've turned it like, you don't own this emotion, isn't going to own me, right? This situation isn't going to own me. I am strong enough to switch it, find something healthy, because a lot of times when we find the unhealthy because it's easier. It's the short, quicker way to release. Maybe we keep calling the same fucking friend, telling them, fuck this person, blah, blah, blah. Like, first of all, save your friend the fucking
they don't really want to hear it. They have their own things to deal with. Maybe for a minute, and then you support them in theirs. But nobody wants to hear that over and over again.
The same loop and loop
because
and loop.
It's really about you finding a way to fix it, because they can't fix it for you.
No.
It's you finding a way to help heal yourself and fix it. What does that mean? It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight.
It's not going to happen, but it's an active choice. And to when those thoughts come in and you catch them, that's because if you don't
pay attention, pay attention.
If you don't catch them, it's subliminal. That's kind of not on you, right? But once you catch what you're doing, there's your option. You have a choice.
Yeah,
you can choose to keep feeding that monster, and he will keep eating. Okay, that monster will grow till you don't recognize yourself anymore.
But do you think there is a group of people, there is a space somewhere where there's a codependency on that?
Oh,
I love to be living in this hate because I'm thriving on it, and it's all I know, and I can't change.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
like
a
they're
whole
codependent on that.
yes, and that we don't
And
want
there
that.
are other people participating in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a whole nother podcast.
Yes.
But yeah, so anyway, that's just a little short segment on, what we think about hate, why I actively do not participate in it while you don't. And Mark doesn't
No.
participate either in hate or anger, apparently. So we're not going to try and test him. Or maybe we will.
Hey, then he can teach us how to not
Yeah,
do that.
teach us how not to do that, right? And maybe he needs to be in this, not me. Okay, maybe we'll try that.
Maybe neither should I.
Mark's like, I'll take over. All right.
Take over, Mark.
All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, subscribe.
Yeah.